Hey watch fans, Brad from Brent Miller Jewelers. And today I thought I'd take a look at the new Breitling Navitimer 41, the three-hander here with no date, and do a quick comparison side by side of the, to my knowledge, it's not an outgoing model at this point. However, it's the prior generation 41 millimeter Navitimer that really isn't all that old. I saw these sitting in our case side by side, and really just more than myself wanted to see what the differences were between the two. And so the case dimensions, I measured diagonally across this case at 40.6. On the blue one, on the new one here, I measured 40.7. So that could be user error. It could be just, a little bit off on the angle there. So I think, relatively speaking, they're about the same case. Crystal on both of them from 3 to 9 is about 38 millimeters. Not really much of a lip to get my caliper on there. And certainly do not want to scratch those bezels there. So again, about 38 millimeters. Again, to me, seems to be about the same size. I will say, looking at them, and I don't know if it has to do with the beaded bezel, because you do have a different bezel on these. The green, and maybe it's the color too, but the bezel, the color, it does look larger to me, just holding them side by side. And when I throw them on wrist, I'll let you look at that as well. Case thickness, the green one here, the prior with the date model, is actually slightly thinner, 10.2 versus 11.9. Now the new one does have a domed crystal, so I'm sure some of that is coming from this crystal. You can see the prior gen, or I shouldn't say prior gen, it's still in the catalog, but has a very flat sapphire crystal, so some of that is coming from the crystal. But looking at it, you can see the mid case, a little bit different design, a little bit thicker on the newer one. The other thing, lug to lug, a little bit shorter on the newer one, so they shortened that up a little bit. On this green one here, I had it at even 48 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, compared to 46.8 on the new blue dial one I have here. The lug width on both of them is 22, tapers to 18. Difference here though, you do have an all polished bracelet, and the clasp itself is a fold over clam style locking mechanism here. You'd have no micro adjustment on either one of these. So I shouldn't say no micro adjustment, no on the fly micro adjustability. You do have some pre-drilled divot spots here in the clasp. So you do have adjustability, it's just not on the fly. Just need to get a tool, get inside there and get that spring bar to move. So again, all polished bracelet and a deployant style clasp with the clam style fold over locking mechanism. Both of them using both of them stainless steel case backs. I'll show you the other one here in a second. Using the Breitling caliber B17, essentially modified their ETA or Salida movement, 38 hours of power reserve. Again, this bracelet, you do get the kind of more updated, true chrono Navitimer bracelet, where you do have the polished and the satin brushed, which I actually prefer myself. And then instead of that fold over deployant, you do have a butterfly clasp on this. No on the fly or micro adjustability whatsoever on the butterfly. However, you do have two half links. I'll show you in a second, just to kind of show you the two clasps. So again, about the same real estate on wrist, but wanted to show you that. Again, both solid stainless steel case backs. Another difference is the newer model here does have a slightly larger crown. I measured it at about 6.3 compared to 5.8, so about a ½ millimeter larger on the crown itself. And again, I mentioned you do have the half links on this bracelet, no micro adjustability, anywhere here within the butterfly clasp. The new one weighed 141.5 grams compared to this green one at 136.1, so about 5 grams heavier. Both of them non-screw down crowns, both of them 30 meters of water resistance, and the price nearly identical. The green one here at $5,500, the new one at $5,600. And so overall, I think it's a nice update. I think I like just about all the features more on the newer one, me personally. And then lastly, just looking at the dials themselves, very similar. The handset's the same except for the seconds hand. So the hour minute hand to me appears to be the same. However, the seconds hand you can see here has a more of a arrow tip at the red with a counter balance with the Breitling sign B, and you lose that B on the new one, and instead of the kind of tip here, you just get a red ended on the seconds hand. So another slight difference, and again, no date versus the date. So again, very similar, but some certain subtle differences. to me, just looking at them, the bracelet being all polished versus the polished and brushed, and then the bezel, the beaded bezel, kind of look at it from the side here versus the new bezel that's more in line with the current Navitimer on the chronograph model. So again, both of them good. Personally, I do have a preference towards this newer one. I think they did a nice job with it. I like the smaller lug to lug as well. Let me throw these both on wrist. Again, I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist. You guys probably get tired of hearing me say that, but for those who may be new to the channel, again, just a little bit under 7 inches. Both of these at 41, certainly wearable for me. Very flat to the wrist, easily fit underneath the cuff. And not a lot of green, or I should say really great green dials. This is one of the better ones in my opinion. I do like the Breitling green quite a bit. And then the new Navitimer 41 non-chrono. Definitely feels a little bit top heavy in hand too. I don't know if that has to do with the clasp itself. A little bit heavier, a little bit thicker. Certainly not a bad thing. I think it wears very well. And as soon as we get additional colorways in, I'll certainly review them. I'm looking forward to seeing that ice blue one myself. So let me hit the lights for you real quick. We'll wrap this one up. As always, greatly appreciate you viewing. Looks to be the same exact Lume as what I expected there with the same markers. So let me know what you think. Do you like the new updated version, or do you still have a preference towards the, I guess I'll call it the older version now. So again, thanks for viewing, and we'll see you in the next video.